What's going on, everybody? My name is Zach Hartley and welcome back to another weekly watch list video. In this one, we are going to review the market conditions so that you're prepared for the week ahead, and then I'm going to share with you 5 stocks that are on my watch list going into this week. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, when we look at the NASDAQ here, it's super interesting because basically what we've seen in December was a breakout, and then we came back down and we retested a very key level that acted as previous resistance and is now acting as support. We bounced off of that support level and now we are coming up to a previous high. This week is going to be very exciting because if we set a new high or a higher high, that is going to be a sign of continuation in the trend, and it's going to be a very positive sign. If we get rejected at this previous high, I would expect the NASDAQ to come back down to support. We're going to be watching for that going into the week ahead. With the S&P 500, we are approaching a key level of resistance, sort of the same thing as the NASDAQ, a previous high that we saw at the end of December. We're coming back to that exact same level. And when we look at the Dow Jones here, it's actually really interesting because on Friday, we opened the day at an all-time high. So the Dow Jones is actually doing extremely well. When we look at the VIX or the volatility index, we are trading at a very, very low level relative to what we've seen over the last few years. So that is showing that the market is fairly calm and it's starting to kind of not be as dramatic and as volatile and as quick to change based on different pieces of news coming out. So very, very exciting there. When it comes to Bitcoin, it was a big week. We're going to talk about this in one more minute. But basically what happened here is an ETF, a bunch of ETFs, 11 actually, all got approved at the same time and started trading. And this was a big event in the world of Bitcoin and taking it kind of mainstream finance. But it was very clearly, or it looks like it is turning out to be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, because as soon as it happened, Bitcoin dropped from about 48.5 all the way down to around 42,000 where we're trading right now. However, we have not broken down through our bullish trend right here. We are trading on our moving average. We have not broke down below our moving average, and we are still in a very, very strong bullish trend. So things are not all bad. We have not broken down through any key levels of support. And so honestly, in terms of a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, as somebody that is long on Bitcoin, this is actually a fairly good result considering that's pretty much what happened. And so not a terrible situation, not a good situation, and honestly not what I expected to happen, but that's okay. That is what comes with it. And honestly, if you're still long on Bitcoin, this could just represent a buying opportunity because now these ETFs make it easier for everybody to get in, and that increase in demand over the next few months could still drive the prices higher. Next thing I want to talk about here is West Texas light crude. On the 6-month chart, we are seeing some major conflicts in the Red Sea that could drive prices higher. It's also having some major impacts on shipping around the world. And so as of right now, we are sort of testing our moving average. We have established a higher low. We're starting to see the first sort of signs or signals of a trend change. So I am watching the oil and gas industry very closely to see what kind of impact this supply chain disruption has on the prices. One price that is looking amazing though right now is uranium. I've been pointing this out for a few weeks and the prices continue to go higher. I'm going to share with you which uranium stock I am watching most closely coming up in just a few minutes. And lithium. Lithium is one of those things where we saw a huge increase in demand and now that bubble is basically burst. Lithium has been trading flat for about a month right now, but it is basically trading flat after a major, huge long-term bearish trend. And so not a great sign for lithium. As soon as it starts to rebound, I will be the first one to let you know because I'm still watching it closely. But when it comes to earnings this week, I believe markets are closed on Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the banks are kicking us off with earnings season. So that should be very exciting. We also have TSMC on Thursday and we have Interactive Brokers on Tuesday, and then a lot of just kind of medium-sized companies in between. Now, when it comes to market conditions, like I said, Bitcoin ETF is approved. That is a good sign for cryptocurrency. It was a super interesting event in the markets. Long term, I think it's very positive. That increase in demand should drive prices up, but Bitcoin, as you know, is extremely volatile regardless of what is happening. U.S. inflation data also came out last week and inflation rose to 3.4%, which is not a good sign, and it might give reason for the Federal Reserve bankers and the Bank of Canada to consider actually keeping interest rates the same and not cutting them or waiting longer to cut them, and possibly, worst case scenario, raising them another 0.25%. So all of those options are sort of on the table, especially depending on what sort of information comes out next month. But inflation has not continued that straight downward trend. That's what this data is showing us. Interest rate announcements will be coming out at the end of the month, both in Canada and in the United States, though. So watch for that coming up here in about 2 weeks. And then escalating conflict in the Red Sea is putting pressure on shipping routes. So that might be something to consider. I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but shipping companies right now might be making more and more money, especially depending on where they're shipping, what routes they're doing, and what they're doing. But it's an industry that's about to get a lot of attention. And then on top of that, I don't know if you saw the videos, but Boeing had basically a door plug fly off. Very scary video. But Boeing stock is struggling after that door flies off, and Airbus stock is going up. So it could be a trend trade there as well. Now, to show you what I mean here, this is the stock chart of Boeing. As you can see, we went from 166 to 267. We had a nice, beautiful run, basically from November until the end of 2023. And then over the last 2 weeks here, we've basically fallen off a cliff. We continue to break down through key levels, and if this continues, there could be a good opportunity for a short. I don't like Boeing as a company. They haven't made a profit in 8 of the last 9 quarters. They continue to have quality control issues. And I think it just kind of stems from a culture and a management team that just aren't living up to expectations. And so long term, I have some major concerns with Boeing. Could be a shorting opportunity. One company I like, though, is in the uranium industry. This is Cameco Corp. I believe they trade in the US as well. They are one of the largest uranium producers that is publicly traded. They are breaking out right now. After last week, we've just broke through a key level of resistance here. We have higher volume, we have a solid MACD, and I like the company long term, especially if uranium prices continue to increase. And as of right now, based on my analysis, I think they have some room to go. So I'm watching Cameco Corp very closely. I'm also watching TSMC this week, or ticker symbol TSM. This is the company that actually produces the computer chips. They're reporting earnings, and I like the company because right now they're testing previous resistance. Their revenue fell, but they still beat expectations. I think they're going to continue to grow over the long term. Right now they're trading at an 18 times price to earnings ratio, which I think is personally pretty reasonable for the industry that they are in. However, this company has some major geopolitical risk with regards to China. China is basically trying to take over Taiwan. This company is primarily headquartered in Taiwan, and there are definitely some geopolitical risks. Long term, I think without that, the company would thrive and do absolutely amazing, but it is something to really think about, and it's something to kind of watch for. But they do have earnings coming out this week, so I'm watching this one closely. I like it. I think there's an opportunity here. I'm interested in NEO. This one's tricky. The financials at NEO aren't looking amazing. I will give you that. The financials, the balance sheet, the income statement, they don't look absolutely amazing, especially over the last kind of 3 to 4 quarters. However, this stock has some major support at $7. They have backing from the Chinese government. The revenue is growing. The last quarter was actually their best, their highest revenue quarter, but the couple of quarters before that weren't very good. And so for me, looking at this company, I'm saying, okay, $7 is going to be a very key inflection point. We're either going to get a bounce off $7 or we're going to break down and we're probably going to fall a lot lower. And so I'm looking at this one. I'm almost considering kind of putting like a option straddle on this where you make money both ways. I'm considering how to play it. I think I'm going to wait and see what happens on Monday and Tuesday. But I'm looking at this chart and I'm saying we're either going to bounce off 7 or we're going to break through 7 and fall considerably lower. And so one of those two things is about to happen in the next few weeks here with NEO, and I'm just trying to position myself to take advantage of it either way, is how I'm thinking about this trade. Because long term, they're not profitable yet. They don't have a clear path to profitability. And I think it's just gonna be whether or not the electric vehicle industry grows and whether or not they can find product market fit. But for me, I'm trying to make a short-term trade on this, so that's what I'm watching for. However, long-term, one company that I do like that I'm actually considering adding to my dividend portfolio is a company called Nutrien. They make fertilizer. They currently produce a 4.14% yield with a 50% payout ratio and a 38% free cash flow payout ratio, which is extremely healthy, very impressive, a healthy yield with not much pressure on the company. They have decent dividend growth of just over 5%, and the stock has been hammered down recently. And so this is one of those positions where I think I've identified a good company. I think it's at a reasonable valuation right now. I don't own any right now, and so all I'm hoping for is for this stock to continue to drop so that I can buy in when I think it's bottomed out. And so I think Nutrien's going to do very well over the long term. I'm planning to add it to my cash flow portfolio. If you want to see that portfolio, everything is posted and shared on Blossom. You can see all my trades, all my investments for that portfolio, and everything's available in the app, now available in Canada and the US. So definitely check it out. It's the best social network for investing, and you're going to want to be there if you're actually involved in swing trading, day trading, or basically kind of active investing in any way. So check it out. Link will be in the description down below, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Good luck trading, good luck investing, and we'll see you soon.